Recently, my channel hit 30,000 subscribers, and I just want to say to each and every person that's been supporting my channel, if you're new here from today, yesterday, a week ago, or if you've been here from the beginning, I just want to say a huge thank you to each and every person that's been supporting my channel. It is immensely appreciated, and I am overwhelmed by the amount of comments and support that I've been getting on my channel. So thank you to each and every person that has been supporting my channel, and you can expect a lot of great things going forward regarding Avatar. Avatar Theory here, hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day. And if my voice does sound a little bit strange, I do have a little bit of a cold at the moment, but in this essentially 30,000 subscriber special, I did ask you guys to leave me a bunch of questions that I will be answering in this video. And I did pick questions at random, starting with the very first one from Carol, asking me essentially if I watched Avatar 1 in the cinema after the world premiere in 2009, and if not, how did I get to know the film, and how did I fall in love with the universe, and for what reason? Now, I did not watch Avatar at the world premiere in 2009, but I did watch it in cinemas in 2009. I was studying animation at the time, and I watched the movie in 3D with a couple of friends. Of course, I was excited when I saw the trailers, but I did not expect to fall in love with Pandora the way I did. Now, some of my friends who watched the movie with me also studied animation, and we were just absolutely blown away by the visuals of the movie. Afterwards, I actually convinced my teacher that we all as a whole class should go and watch the movie, to which we did, and about the week after, the whole week all we spoke about in class was how James Cameron was able to make this movie. Shortly after that, we had to do a research project, and most students chose Disney and Pixar movies, whereas I chose Avatar as my research project. And thus, I essentially began researching everything about the world, the lore, the characters, everything related to Avatar. And it was pretty much there when I dove into the designs, the concepts, the ideas behind the characters, the creatures, everything that James Cameron and his team had put into this world, where my love for Avatar began. For months, years after the first Avatar movie, me and my friends theorized as to where the franchise could go from there, and still to this day, we often speak about some of the theories and ideas that we would have loved to see in the franchise. Next question from Turtle Squad Boss says, Avatar Theory, I love your channel. Thank you a lot. Thank you for the support. Do you think that there should be an Avatar series on Disney Plus or books? What kind of world building should the franchise do to expand the fan base? I love Avatar, as does I. Now, we do have the comics, which expands the lore and the world of Avatar a little bit. And of course, with Ubisoft's upcoming Frontiers of Pandora taking place within the world of Avatar, we are going to get some expanded world building elsewhere on Pandora. But would I love an Avatar series on Disney Plus? I think it could be possible that it could work if they do something along the lines of what Star Wars did with the Clone Wars series or with their Bad Batch series. If you have some sort of animated series focusing on maybe some side characters or some other characters on Pandora, perhaps that way you can bring in some younger audiences to the Avatar franchise. Because of course I know that it won't really be possible to make a live action series on Avatar based on how expensive it is just to make the movies itself. So if you make 30 to 40 minute episodes and you make 7 or 8 of them, it's going to be quite expensive. But I do think, like I said, if you make an animated series in sort of the style of the Bad Batch, then you could do something in between the movies, like every second year. For example, 2023 and 2025 and 2027, you could maybe have a series on Disney Plus. But of course, I don't want to essentially oversaturate the Avatar franchise like what Disney is doing with Star Wars and the Marvel franchise, because an Avatar movie is like a big event. So if you have too much of that, it might take away from that, essentially that special feeling of seeing a brand new Avatar movie. The movie writer asks, do you think we will ever see Eywa actually revealed in full head to toe physical form in the Avatar franchise? If so, do you think she'd have wings, and who should play her? That is a very interesting question, because I think of Eywa a lot like a comparison to the Force. So will we see Eywa in full head to toe physical form in the Avatar franchise? I don't think we will. I think it's better left for your own imagination as to how you would interpret Eywa. I think that is best way to have Eywa in that way, because if James Cameron do reveal Eywa to be this character or this actress to play Eywa, then it might take away from a lot of the mystery as to who Eywa is or who or what Eywa is. Perhaps maybe in the final movie we will see Eywa, but as of right now, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Laughable Person asks, how many times have you seen Avatar 2 now? What part of Avatar drew you in the most at the start? Was it the world building, the scientific accuracy, the characters themselves, the story, the visuals, etc.? Well, as for how many times have I seen Avatar 2 by now? 5 times. I have seen it 5 times. 3 times in the first week, I saw it another time the week after, and I saw it another time in early January. So I do want to see it one more time before it leaves cinemas, so I will likely go probably within the next 2 weeks to see it one more time. As for which part of Avatar drew me in at the start, it would certainly be the visuals, because as I said earlier in this video, I was doing my bachelor's in 3D animation at the time, so of course I was very blown away by just how James Cameron had done that, because I was, struggling to make my own animated characters and visuals in 3ds Max at the time. So seeing this was just not only an inspiration, but just breathtaking at how a studio and a team can do something that looks so lifelike. And the more time I spent in researching at how the team had made these incredible characters, the more I started falling in love with the world building and the story. Of course, I loved the story of Avatar, but the world building, because I started looking up at the concept arts and the ideas that they put into the characters and the creatures and the RDA vehicles itself and the RDA tech. So I started falling in love with the world building of Avatar. So I would say it started with the visuals, and then over time I fell in love with the world building. But like I said, I also loved the story of the first movie. DNA Mob asks, hey, congrats on 30k. Thank you. I was wondering if it was love at first sight with Avatar or something you came back to. Also, do you think we will see the recoms that died again in the 3rd or 4th movie? Keep up the good work and have an awesome day. Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, it was certainly love at first sight with Avatar. I mean, like I just said, the visuals is what just amazed me about the Avatar movie, and just everything related to the film, the creative aspects of the movie. Just immediately I couldn't stop thinking, I couldn't stop talking about Avatar when I left the cinema for the first time. So it was certainly something that was on my mind for a very, very long time, and something that kept me creatively drawn to, I just kept on wanting to create things and become better at it. And as to your second part, do I think that recoms that died in the second movie we will see in the 3rd and 4th movie? I see it possible. I see that it is a possibility, because I mean, they were created from their memory, so I don't see why they won't bring them back again. But I think if they bring them back for the 3rd movie and they die in the 3rd movie, then we will possibly not see them in the 4th movie, as we know that Lyle Wainfleet did not die in the 2nd movie, so we know that he is coming back for the 3rd movie. Sankar says, just want to say, following you since 5k and very happy to see you achieving 30k. Thank you so much. A small opinion to share, I feel like the Colonel will become good in Avatar 3. Share your opinion too. Well, I actually made a video a long time ago saying that I do feel that Quaritch might become the hero later on. Not the main hero of the story, but he will eventually turn good. So I do think that is a possibility in the 3rd Avatar movie as well as the 4th. We will see him change slightly. He'll still be he'll still be a villain in some sorts, but he will become good over time, and then towards the end you will see a completely different side of Colonel Quaritch. Julia asks, hey AT, what is your favorite part of Pandora? Animal, Na'vi, plant life? Well, for me it's certainly the Na'vi, the characters of Pandora. Without them, Pandora would still be a beautiful place with all the animals and the plant life, but certainly the Na'vi, the characters of Pandora, is what made me fall in love with the world of Pandora. Malaglu asks, Theory, what do you think about Jake handing the torch to Lo'ak? Will Lo'ak be the main character? I can certainly see going forward that Lo'ak will be the main focus of the franchise. Possibly in the 3rd movie we'll see essentially the final transition from Jake being the main character to Lo'ak being the main character, and then in the 4th and 5th movie Lo'ak will be more of the main focus. Jake will obviously still be around and will still play an important role, but you have to remember that Avatar 2 and 3 was filmed around 2017, 2016, and in Avatar 4 there's going to be a massive time jump, so Lo'ak will be much older in the 4th and 5th movies. Thus I do see him being the main character in the later films. ABC asks, why can't people see Spider as the good boy he is? He's been called a bad character for many reasons that actually make him a great one. I don't think Spider is a bad character in particular. I just think that people got annoyed by the way he essentially flip-flops through the movie. Like one moment he's with Jake, one moment he's more with Quaritch, one moment he's then with Jake again, then he saves Quaritch, then he goes back to Jake again. It's like he cannot make up his mind. He's very conflicted, and for obvious reasons, because, his dad is alive, kinda, and he obviously wants that bond with his real father that he never had, because Jake and Neytiri doesn't really see him as one of their own, at least not yet. So he's a very conflicted character, and I think for that reason people don't really connect with him. But I do believe that he's going to play an important role going forward. Adam asks, what is your favorite character and favorite moments from Avatar? Because you didn't specify Avatar: The Way of Water, I'm going to take this question as from the first movie. My favorite moments from the first movie is certainly where Jake moves his feet for the first time, and also where he feels the ground, the soil between his toes, as I can only imagine how that must feel for him. And also, I absolutely love the moments shortly after Neytiri and Jake meets for the first time, where all the wood sprites sits on top of Jake, because not only is it a beautiful scene visually, but I also just laugh every time when Jake hits that wood sprite away for the first time. And probably the fight scene between Quaritch and Jake at the end of the movie. As for my favorite character, I would say I have two favorite characters from the first movie, and that is Colonel Quaritch as well as Neytiri. Of course, I love RDA tech because I'm just a little bit of a sucker for technology and stuff like that, and I just love the design of the amp suits and all of their gear. But I really love the Na'vi, and Neytiri is probably my favorite character from the Na'vi. HM Cuber asks, if you could be any superhero, who would you be and why? If I could be any superhero, I would probably want to be the Flash, simply because of the fact that I would love to be able to move as fast as him. I always loved in movies when anybody had super speed abilities, especially when you see them running across water. And I mean, the Flash can not only go back in time, he can rewrite history, he can change so much. And if you've watched the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie, you will know that, and this is somewhat spoilers if you've not yet seen the Snyder cut, but he basically saved the whole team by turning back time. So he is more powerful than people give him credit for. And quite a while ago, I played a game called DC Universe Online. I spent a lot of time in that game, and my character in that game had super speed because it was just so much fun running up a building, and then when you get to the end of the building, you jump and you just almost jump halfway across the city. So I would definitely say super speed and Flash's abilities. But as for who is my favorite comic book superhero, that would probably be Spider-Man. And then finally, a question I got asked a lot is, why so blue? That's probably because Avatar 3 is still over a year away. And that basically concludes my Q&A for the 30,000 subscriber special. Again, I just want to thank each and every person for not only subscribing, but commenting, liking my videos. Even if you dislike my videos, just leave a comment in the video as to why you dislike the video. If the audio is bad, let me know. If the video is bad, if I should make the videos more interesting, let me know in the comments. I don't mind feedback, especially if I'm wrong in some of my facts, because that means I learn new things as well. So please do keep pointing me out if I'm wrong in some of my facts. But again, thank you so much for all the support on my channel. I really appreciate it. And as always, have a fantastic day and stay safe.